in those transitions, in those moments where you have to deal with those, with being able to face your fears, being able to deal with all these weaknesses that you have to deal with to move to the next step or to move to the next season, is what makes the difference between a woman who is going to evolve and a woman who is going to be stuck in who they are. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Evolving Woman series that is happening here on Motivation Monday. I hope you are getting edified. I hope you are benefiting from this series for this month. My name is Jane Bai, and I am so glad to be able to take you through this series. And today we have a very interesting topic. It's basically called the woman of seasons, or the seasons that we go through in life. And I think as women, we really do experience a lot of different seasons as we are growing up, as we are changing, as we are adjusting, as we are becoming. And so in these different seasons, we are required to also become different versions of ourselves, to be able to go through a season successfully or go through a season without really being pushed or being broken. And when I say this, when I say as women we go through a lot of seasons, I basically mean our transitions are different as we are growing up. When we become teenagers, our bodies start changing. We start seeing ourselves differently. When we look at the mirror, you're not just seeing Jane, but now you start seeing a beautiful woman. You start seeing other features that are developing. And in that season, you are required to be a different person. When you continue from that, then we grow into this season where you probably get into marriage, or you get into a career path. Then after that, you get into a season of motherhood where you're taking care of kids. Then you grow from that, you become an auntie, you become a grandma, you become, like, there's always a transition in your life. And these different seasons require us to be different parts and versions of ourselves in each particular space. And I'm going to look or basically just talk about the different seasons that we go through. And they require us to be, sometimes we are required to bloom because we are excited. Probably it's your wedding day, or it's your birthday, or you're celebrating something that has happened in your life, or a season, like a season that is new, a rebirth of sorts, or you are evolving into something different. Then you are required to bloom in that season. Sometimes we are required to strike, and by striking I mean we are required to bring out the Wakanda in us, if I can use that word. And then you are required to become this powerful and different woman that is supposed to fight whatever is happening in your life. Sometimes we go through a burning season where we are burnt, where we have to really rediscover and reinvent ourselves. And these seasons, I'm telling you, can be very difficult, and it's what makes a difference between a woman who will succeed and a woman who will give up on themselves. And here we are not about giving up on ourselves. We are about picking up those pieces and making beautiful versions of ourselves. Through them, there are seasons where we are required to submit. Of course, when you get married, you're required to submit to your husband. You're required to submit to your bosses at work. There are seasons that will require you to humble yourself. And when I say this, I'm not saying this from perspective of making yourself weak, but being in a position where you are required to be in. Just as the Bible tells us. And there are seasons where you are required to stand up for yourself, to stand up for what you believe in, to stand up for the things that people would normally not agree with when it comes to probably a discussion, but you are required to stand up. And in those seasons, of course, then you're supposed to be strong. In those seasons, it's basically the same thing we said, you are required to strike. So in all these different seasons, it basically means that as a woman, we are constantly evolving into different versions of ourselves. We are constantly going through life in these different seasons as different women. When I look at myself, when I was going through my pregnancy season, I had to be a different version of myself. I had to accommodate those changes in my body. I had to accommodate being able to bring my baby into this world. I had to accommodate motherhood. I had to accommodate that adjustment. And it basically means that For every seasons, it requires different versions of ourselves, which would normally stretch us. And the reason why, when I started, I said that there are women who give up on themselves is because during these transitions sometimes there's a lot of struggle, sometimes there's a lot of self-confrontation, and people do not like confronting their weaknesses. I also do not like confronting my weaknesses, but in those transitions, in those moments where you have to deal with those with being able to face your fears, being able to deal with all these weaknesses that you have to deal with to move to the next step or to move to the next season, is what makes the difference between a woman who is going to evolve and a woman who is going to be stuck in who they are. Because if you don't confront your demons, then it means you are not ready to move to the next level. Or if you don't confront your fears, then it essentially means that you're also stuck in that space because you feel comfortable and you feel like, if I'm in this space, then I do not need to confront these things. And so you end up not going to the next season. So what we're basically saying is it's important as women to embrace these seasons. Sometimes they can be tough, but if you just push yourself to go through that tough season, then you're able to evolve into this butterfly or into this version of yourself that is, of course, of a higher grade based on who you are. So yeah, it basically means that we should embrace our seasons. Sometimes they can be tough. Sometimes they would require you to retrieve back and think about what you're doing. Sometimes they will require you to step up the game. Sometimes they will require you to just be mild and learn from whatever is happening in your environment. But if we are able to embrace those seasons, then it means that in every season we are constantly evolving and we are constantly accepting ourselves and we are constantly appreciating who we are becoming each and every day. And out of this, definitely you're going to experience growth. You're going to experience a very huge difference from who you are to who you're becoming. That's it for today's topic, guys. I really do hope that you have gained something. Please appreciate the season you're in because there's a lesson it's bringing in your space. My name is Jane Bai. I'm so happy to have been able to take you through this topic, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.